Deep dive into GTA San Andreas myths and legends. Myths and legends in the Grand Theft Auto series have been a big phenomenon for many years. The claims of some mysterious and creepy secrets in the games gained a huge popularity in the mid-2000s and 2010s, and even the creators of the games, Rockstar Games, noticed the popularity and decided to have some fun with it in their recent creations, like GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. But how did it all start? Well, it's 2023 now, so most sources are no longer available, but we will try to show or at least suggest where these legends and myths originated from. The origin. Myths and legends have been a part of the Grand Theft Auto series since a small uprising in GTA 3. They were not as popular as the ones that surfaced a few years later. Prior to the release of San Andreas, myths and legends in GTA Vice City became a subject of debate on online forums. The primary ones included Sea Monster, Super Cops, and the Submarine. These went on to become retro myths in the time ahead. However, GTA 3 is still considered to be the beginning of mysteries in the franchise, as Easter eggs were more abundant than myths and legends at the time. Myth hunting was a little-known corner of the GTA world until the release of San Andreas. GTA San Andreas pioneered what is probably the largest collection of myths and legends in any GTA game, or any video game for that matter, to date. Even before the release of the game, magazines and internet forums spread rumors of Bigfoot, Leatherface, Mothman, and UFOs appearing as Easter eggs. With the release of the game, the interest in myths and legends was gaining traction very fast. Not just pictures, but now video evidence started surfacing in forums and on YouTube. However, many of them were hoaxes. Back then, there weren't many tools nor programs for checking the game files and codes, so it wasn't easy to prove or disprove these myths and legends. So within time, more and more claims showed up. Forums were flooded with myths and legends, screenshot evidence and videos were posted on YouTube. Near the end of the 2000s, there were so many myths and legends about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and more claims were showing up almost every day. Some of them were interesting, others even had some compelling evidence, but there were also some that were ridiculous and obvious hoaxes, fabricated by players. In the last years of the 2000s and the beginning of the 2010s, YouTube channels were made dedicated to investigating these claims. These channels were known as myth hunting channels. Unfortunately, some channels were playing along with the hoaxes. Others completely fabricated their evidence, and some even completely fabricated their own myths in the hopes of gaining traction. The myth hunting channels, who were honest and truthful about their investigations, were not many. Let's take a look at some myths and legends, how they originated, what were the claims, and is there any truth to them? Bigfoot. Possibly the first major myth in San Andreas was Bigfoot. Originating shortly after the release of the game around 2004, it became so popular that even gaming magazines offered monetary rewards to any player that could snap a photo of the creature. Rumors of Bigfoot and back beyond circulated for many years. It even had some base support behind it. It was mentioned on a radio in San Andreas, and even in the game's credits. Not to mention that the back beyond area map resembles a large footprint. Many videos were uploaded on YouTube, searching for the legendary creature, and a lot of fake evidence was posted too. However, with time, it became obvious that there was no Bigfoot in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. CJ's mom's ghost. Another early myth was CJ's mom's ghost. Unlike the Bigfoot myth, this one had no base support from the game. It originated probably around 2006 to 2009, within that range of time. Players reported seeing the ghost of CJ's deceased mother inside the safe house. The ghost allegedly walks down the stairs in and around the living room. Many claim that there is an increased chance of the ghost spawning if the in-game date is a Friday or if the players set their computer date to Halloween. Early claims of this myth surfaced in GameSpot and IGN forums. Just like the Bigfoot myth, many video investigations were uploaded on YouTube, most of which were fake or untrue. From what we gathered about this myth is that it was probably made up when a player was playing the game late at night and was kind of feeling creeped out by the silence in CJ's house, and imagined, what if CJ's mom's ghost showed up? Leatherface. Leatherface was another early myth in San Andreas. Claims have circulated regarding distant chainsaw sounds prior to encountering the killer in the Panopticon. Some of the early claims of this myth also originated from forums probably around 2006 to 2009. Unlike CJ's mom's ghost, this myth had some interesting details about it. One of them was an interesting section about the Panopticon on the Rockstar website, which reads, "At the very center of the state of San Andreas, Blueberry is a farming community, and home to the Fleischberg Brewery. To the west of a local farm, Blueberry Acres, lays a large hill known locally as the Panopticon. The Panopticon affords views of both Bone and Flint counties and Easter Basin Airport, serving San Fierro. We're sure some crime takes place here, only currently we don't know what." Many players went looking, and there were many suggestions made on how to make Leatherface show up. However, none were successful. Videos where the legendary killer shows up were hoaxes, and within time, this myth was concluded to not be real. Falling black dots. This myth originated around 2011 to 2012 on the GameSpot forums. Unlike the previous ones, this myth was proven to be real. However, there is nothing else about it. It's just a glitch, where a small black dot that appears could be seen falling from the sky, which happens randomly around anywhere in San Andreas. Big Smoke's ghost. It is unknown when this myth originated, but forum posts on GameSpot and Neoseeker go back all the way to 2011. The posts about this myth talk of a video first posted by a myth hunter. After a little while, the video blew up in popularity, when a viewer noticed something that appeared to be a very transparent shadow going from left to right. The video did not seem to be a hoax. However, the strange figure was later ruled out as a matrix and glitch. Although the GTA San Andreas Myth and Legends wiki included the myth on its page, and even gave it the "proven as a glitch" status. Sharks. Now, it is not clear when and from where this myth originated, but this is one of the rare cases where a myth was proven to be 100% real. In 2014, a certain myth hunter, after a long time of searching, managed to find and to prove the existence of sharks in the San Andreas waters. Later, more myth hunters managed to find the shark, and even after some digging in the game's files, there was no doubt. But the sharks are just like all other underwater creatures, playing no role in the game's story or gameplay mechanics. They are just an environmental detail. There is still the question, why did the developers of the game make sharks so hard to find? What is ironic though, despite this being probably one of the few 100% proven myths, there are still those to this day who believe that there are no sharks in the game. Ring Girl. The Ring Girl myth can be traced back all the way to 2006, where this video was posted. It kind of slipped under the radar for a while, but then it was picked up by myth hunters in 2010 or 2011. The video features CJ in his living room, looking around, when a silhouette of a girl appears from the television in the corner and disappears seconds later. Other than this video, there was no other evidence as compelling as this one. It was later concluded that this was just a rare pedestrian spawn glitch. This myth also ties to the Biowell myth. ghost town figure. Now here is a myth we suspect came from GameSpot and the GTA forums shortly after the release of the game. Players have reported seeing a strange black figure walking around the ghost town known as Las Brujas at night. Most accounts of the ghost town figure are generally the same. Players usually describe the figure to be an old lady. Most, if not all, of the video and photo evidence of the encounters are modifications or Photoshop. The interesting thing is that Las Brujas, which in English translates to the witches, is mentioned on a police radio in the game.
Who got a hysterical old woman in Las Brujas? Says she's a witch or something.
However, there is nothing about Las Brujas other than being a spooky abandoned town, serving as a location for a few of the storyline missions. Falling pedestrians on Mount Chiliad. It is believed that this is one of the later myths. Claims of this myth's existence probably first got posted in GTA forums. Players reported seeing pedestrians falling from the slopes of Mount Chiliad to their deaths. And while it is quite the rare occurrence, it was proven to be true. The explanation of this myth is a simple spawning glitch or coding error. However, explained or not, this is one scary event for a player to witness. If you liked the videos so far, please consider hitting the thumbs up button and subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. Red Fog. Another proven myth, or actually a bizarre error for the PC port of San Andreas. It surfaced late into the Myths and Legends stage, but this was in the game since the release. The Red Fog is a name given to an occurrence in the game and can be seen in all areas of San Andreas in stormy weather, at night. The blood red fog only occurs on the PC version of San Andreas because the PC version has an error in the time cycle file, which causes the game to set incorrect sky colors and ambient lighting at 8 PM during rainy weather in the countryside. The weather effects are interpolated with the previous 7 PM and next 10 PM time cycle file setting, so the effect can be seen at any time between 7 PM and 10 PM. This is also the reason why textures are very bright during this period, almost as if it were the middle of the day. The Woods Creature. This is an early one, originating from the Pigsea, Bear, and Bigfoot myths, probably around 2010 to 2011. At first, it was connected to these three myths, but within time it branched to its own. Later, the myth hunters split it into two, the Shady Creeks creature and the Backo Beyond creature. The identity of the Woods creature can never be fully described accurately. It is considered a myth of debate, as each eyewitness has their own idea of its appearance. Evidence of the creature's sighting has been presented, but nothing as undisputed truth, and most of them turn out to be just mistaken bushes or trees. Like many myths before it, this one is not true. Mysterious phone calls. Here is a 2007 myth that started as rumors and forum posts. Players claim to have received strange phone calls in the game, only to answer the cell phone and find out that there was nobody on the other line. After the claims were picked up by myth hunters, many tried to debunk this myth, but with no success, due to the fact that the calls never happened while investigating, thus ruled out as a glitch or script error. There are some videos online about this strange phenomenon occurring, where after answering the cell phone there would be static on the other line. It is believed that most common places to receive these strange calls are in Bone County or Tierra Robada, and usually around Area 69 and the Big Ear. However, once more, most if not all evidence of this myth is sadly false. UFOs. This is another early myth that surfaced right after the game's release alongside the Bigfoot one. In the game, there are small blinking lights that can be witnessed flying at a very high altitude at any time in the sky. It was believed that these blinking lights have been designed by game developers to look like airplanes. However, this has been a very highly debated subject within the GTA community, due to skeptics saying that these lights in the sky haven't been designed by the game developers to simulate airplane traffic. They move very fast in the sky, and the player can never catch up with them without using cheating tools. What made things stranger is that in the game's files, these lights are called UFO light, with the UFO map and little probe in adding even more fuel to the myth. Are the blinking lights UFOs or not? This remains uncertain, simply because there is nothing else about them. Alcatraz. Shortly after the discovery of the UFO map in the game, probably around 2005, players noticed that the map looks a bit different than the official one. Speculations were made that the UFO map is a map of San Andreas during the beta version of the game. Sometime after, players noticed a small island area above San Fierro, probably around 2010 or 2011. It was suggested that this island was supposed to be Alcatraz. Since there is no prison facility in the entirety of GTA San Andreas, and knowing that San Fierro is a representation of the real-world San Francisco, where the real Alcatraz is, the suggestion that the small island was supposed to be the well-known prison seems logical. However, if true, the question why it was removed from the final version of the game remains a mystery. Mount Chiliad Angel. Here is another kind of proven myth. This one probably originated from YouTube, where a video was posted around 2010. From there, myth hunters picked up on it and took it upon themselves to investigate. While it is true that one can see some interesting figures in the clouds, some resembling angels, it is most likely to be a case of pareidolia, where shapes of clouds or other objects remind the viewer of something else. Ghost cars. Of course, we have to include one of the most popular myths in San Andreas. This is also one of the very first myths that have been proven to be real. Originating in the early years of the release of the game, these beaten-up cars would spawn in the rural areas of Baco Beyond. They would spawn on the side of a steep hill, which makes them slide to the bottom of the hill as soon as they spawn, making it appear as if they were driving themselves. Many fan-made videos show the cars whirring to life, with their lights turning on and attempting to run the player down. No solid evidence of this has ever been found. Although this myth was proven real, it is also proven to be nothing special, and having nothing paranormal behind it, except for a few weird details. These beaten-up cars cannot be fixed by visiting Pay and Spray, and there is a glitch on the PS2 version of the game where the ghost car that rolls down the hill spawns incorrectly, right through a tree. If this occurs, the wheels are spinning on the ground silently while the car remains stuck. This could mean that the car that rolls downhill is scripted to always do it in order to simulate a car with the brakes off. Ghost Train. Since the release of the game, there have been rumors of a ghost train that randomly spawns along any of the railway tracks of the game. Apparently, the train will switch tracks without warning and attempt to run down the player. However, this myth lacks details, and it was ruled out as not true, since trains cannot switch tracks in San Andreas, since the two tracks constantly run parallel to each other and never cross at any point, except in Prickle Pine, although it is just temporary. In 2008, a user decided to reinvestigate this myth and found out that a ghost train does exist in the game, but is totally different than the one explained. In the mission Snail Trail, when CJ starts to follow the train and reaches the first tunnel as the second train on the right track starts coming towards him, if the player decides to follow that train, once they reach the Cranberry station, the train will directly move to the other track and start floating in the air. It will keep going straight until it reaches the tracks where Big Smoke finished killing the Vagos in the mission wrong side of the tracks. Then, it'll start moving on the ground as usual. Because of this new evidence, the ghost train myth is considered as proven. These are just some of the myths of the game. Around 2011 and 2012, the forums were flooded by claims of all kinds of myths in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and YouTube containing thousands of videos by myth hunters. The myths and legends phenomenon was still going strong. A wiki page was made dedicated to keeping track of them. However, around this time is when these phenomenons started to go crazy. This was also around the same time when GTA 4 was already released and GTA 5 was getting released soon. The myths and legends of San Andreas were still going strong. So strong, in fact, that the myths and legends phenomenon of San Andreas only expanded more. Unfortunately though, many of these new claims were too ridiculous, and many myths surfaced with crazy and very questionable origins. Let's take a look at some of them. Slender Man. With the popularity of the creepypasta about Slender Man, it was a matter of time before someone would claim that he was sighted in the woods of San Andreas. Obviously, one does not need to investigate if this myth is true or not. The game came out in 2004, while the Slender Man creepypasta surfaced around 2008. There is simply no way he would have been implemented into the game, not even as an update, because back then, games would not get updates, besides a few exceptions like certain MMOs. Not to mention, by the time Slender Man creepypasta was written, GTA 4 was already released or near release, so this myth is just not true. Squidward's suicide. Yeah, believe it or not, there was a myth like that. It was based on the popular creepypasta. Probably someone liked the creepypasta so much that they decided to come up with a myth of it for San Andreas. There is even a mod for it. Pinhead. Another ridiculous one. The origin of this myth is unknown, just like the claim that Pinhead was sighted in San Andreas. There is no solid evidence or foundation for it to even be possible. It is ruled out as untrue and false. Pyramid Head. And yet another ridiculous one. Rumored to be found in Rodeo Los Santos in the creepy house because of its suspicious rust texture. Any evidence or photos that might have been shown of Pyramid Head in the game are mods or fakes. He is not in the game. Jigsaw Killer. Now this is called pulling myths out of a certain place. It is also unknown where or when this myth originated from. It is possible that it originated from a mod for the game, placing the Jigsaw Killer at the Angel Pine Junkyard. Probably someone used the mod and claimed it was a myth, trying to cause a buzz. King Kong. There is no King Kong in the game. Children. Nope. Chucky. Are you joking? Dinosaurs. True. Probably about 65 million years ago. Freddy Krueger. In your dreams. See what we did there? Time Traveler. Not even going to explain how fake this one is. Ghostface, Bloody Mary, Demons, Chupacabra, Pokong. Nope, 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 and nope. More and more ridiculous myths were claimed by players in later stages of the San Andreas myths and legends phenomenon, and most of them being completely false. Around this time was also when tools and programs became more available, where players used them to check the game files, codes, and use the trainers to manipulate the game in almost any way they wanted, in order to prove or debunk any myth, finally putting these hoaxes to rest. This did not stop players though, because for many there has always been something special about sitting in front of the PC or console, playing San Andreas late at night with the lights off, and losing themselves in the forests, or clicking on a scary San Andreas myth video on YouTube, and enjoying the scary atmosphere. With the programs available to exploit the game in any way, and literally turning any stone to see which rumor is true and which isn't, and also with Grand Theft Auto V close to release, it was time to put the San Andreas myths and legends to rest, due to the fact that everything that there was to find in the game has been found. These days, the myths and legends in myth hunting has quieted down, but there is no denying the enormous footprint it left on video games, especially San Andreas. If you liked this video, make sure to stay tuned for a deep dive into the Grand Theft Auto 4 myths and legends. Thanks for watching.